Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your betting game by hitting that subscribe button and ensure you never miss out on our daily content. Want exclusive access to premium betting picks? Join our Patreon. Links are waiting for you in the comment section below. Stay ahead of the game with High Stakes. New Orleans Pelicans versus Memphis Grizzlies. When you're sizing up a matchup like this, it's crucial to recognize the distinct trajectories these teams are on. The Pelicans, weighed down by injuries, are scraping the bottom of the Western Conference barrel. On the flip side, the Grizzlies, rejuvenated by Ja Morant's return, are sprinting their way back to contender status. Let's break this game down with a bettor's precision. The Pelicans are walking into this matchup with a depleted roster and shaky morale. Zion's absence remains a gaping hole in their offense, and while CJ McCollum and DJ Murray are back, continuity takes time to build. Time the Pels don't have. They've dropped 11 of their last 12 games, and their 38% shooting performance against Toronto on Wednesday was the basketball equivalent of waving the white flag. The Grizzlies, on the other hand, are cooking. They've won 4 of their last 5, even when giving Morant some rest, and are showcasing depth with players like Marcus Smart and Scottie Pippen Jr. stepping up. Memphis plays with pace and efficiency, ranking 2nd in scoring and 5th in field goal percentage. Even when Morant isn't on the court, they push the tempo and dominate inside the arc. The Grizzlies' pace is lightning fast with Morant back in the fold, and they've proven they can pile on points even without him. The Pelicans, despite their struggles, still have capable scorers in McCollum and Ingram, if he plays. Plus, Memphis' tendency to push the ball could lead to easy buckets for both sides, especially given New Orleans' defensive woes. With the total likely set in the mid-220s, this game should comfortably hit the over. The Grizzlies will do most of the heavy lifting, and the Pelicans will add just enough to push it over the line. Betting recommendation: spread, Grizzlies minus 7.5 points. Memphis is trending up and will likely run New Orleans out of the gym. Total, over 224.5 points. The Grizzlies' high-octane style will keep the scoreboard moving. The Pelicans are a wounded animal limping into the Grizzlies' den. Expect Memphis to pounce early, dominate the boards, and coast to a convincing win while lighting up the scoreboard. Orlando Magic versus Brooklyn Nets. This Eastern Conference matchup pits two teams with very different momentum but intriguing betting angles. The Orlando Magic are rolling, winners of 10 of their last 11 games, while the Brooklyn Nets are finding ways to stay competitive despite injuries and roster challenges. Brooklyn's plus 4.5 spread feels generous for a team that's covered 12 of their last 17 games. Even without key players like Cam Thomas and Nick Claxton, the Nets have proven adaptable under Jordi Fernandez, utilizing a slower pace, last in NBA in pace, and strong contributions from unexpected players. Tyrese Martin's career game against Phoenix highlights Brooklyn's ability to plug and roll players and keep games competitive. Key factors for Brooklyn: depth stepping up. Dennis Schroeder, Ben Simmons, and Cameron Johnson are taking on bigger roles, and Martin's breakout shows their bench is capable of surprise performances. ATS dominance. The Nets are reliable against the spread, even in tough matchups. Control the tempo. Their slow pace and methodical style force opponents like Orlando into half-court battles, where execution becomes key. Orlando and Brooklyn are both among the slowest teams in the league, 24th and 30th in pace. This should be a grinded-out affair with limited possessions. The Magic's defense has been excellent, forcing turnovers and protecting the rim with their length, while the Nets' methodical offense further slows down the game. Additional under-indicators. Orlando's defense has fueled their success, holding opponents to limited scoring opportunities. 8 of the Magic's last 11 games have gone under the total. Brooklyn's low-scoring, deliberate style matches up perfectly to drag the total below expectations. Spread. Take the Nets plus 4.5. Brooklyn has shown they can keep it close, and Orlando's recent streak is bound for a grinded-out contest. Total. Take the under 217.5 or similar. Both teams play slow, defensive-oriented basketball, and this game should reflect those trends. The Nets might not have the firepower to win outright, but they'll likely keep it close enough to cover. With both teams slowing things down, expect a defensive slugfest. Boston Celtics versus Chicago Bulls. This matchup features two teams heading in opposite directions. The red-hot Boston Celtics, winners of 6 straight, against the struggling Chicago Bulls, who have dropped 6 of their last 10. The Celtics bring their championship pedigree and balanced attack into Chicago, where the Bulls will attempt to hold their ground despite glaring defensive issues. The Celtics are the complete package right now, ranking 3rd in points per game and 6th in opponent points per game. Boston's ability to dominate on both ends was on full display in their blowout win over the Clippers, and they've shown no signs of slowing down. Meanwhile, the Bulls' defensive woes continue to haunt them as they rank dead last in opponent points per game. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White are leading a balanced offense with 7 players averaging double figures. Kristaps Porzingis' return adds another dimension to their attack. The Celtics are 8-1 on the road this season, thriving away from TD Garden. Chicago allowed 133 points to the Magic in their last outing and simply can't keep up with elite offenses. Expect Boston to exploit Chicago's defensive lapses and maintain control throughout the game, covering the 9.5-point spread. This game sets up as a high-scoring affair. The Bulls rank 3rd in points per game and possessions per game, playing an up-tempo style that leads to inflated totals. Unfortunately for Chicago, their inability to defend ensures their opponents capitalize on this pace. Boston, with its efficient offense, will have no trouble lighting up the scoreboard. Boston put up 126 points in their last game, while Chicago surrendered 133. The pace and lack of defensive resistance make a high total likely. Chicago has struggled mightily at home, 2-6, particularly on defense. The Bulls' run-and-gun style will force a quicker tempo, even if it plays into the Celtics' hands. Even with Boston's strong defensive numbers, the sheer volume of possessions, and Chicago's ability to score enough to keep things interesting should push this game over the total. Take Celtics minus 9.5 points. The Celtics are riding a 6-game winning streak and boast one of the most complete teams in the league. Their blend of offensive firepower, defensive discipline, and veteran leadership makes them a nightmare for an inconsistent Bulls squad. While Chicago can score in bunches, their defensive deficiencies will likely prove too much to overcome against a disciplined and talented Boston team. The Celtics rank 3rd in the league in points per game, 119.3, and 6th in opponent points per game, 108.5, showcasing their ability to dominate on both sides of the ball. Their balanced approach ensures they don't just outscore opponents, they lock them down too. With an 8-1 road record, Boston has proven they can thrive in hostile environments. Their poise and execution away from home have been key factors in their early season success. The Bulls are ranked dead last in opponent points per game, allowing an alarming 123.8 points on average. They've shown no ability to contain top-tier offenses, and Boston has one of the best. With Jason Tatum, 28.4 ppg, and Jaylen Brown, 25 ppg, leading the charge, Boston stars are more consistent and reliable compared to Chicago's inconsistent core. Zach LaVine's recent struggles, coupled with Lonzo Ball's limited minutes and production, further tilt the matchup in Boston's favor. Expect Boston to set the tone early and maintain control throughout the game. Chicago has struggled to remain competitive against elite teams, and their lack of defensive presence will leave them exposed against Boston's deep rotation. Look for the Celtics to win decisively and cover the 9.5-point spread. Also take the over 238.5 points. This game has all the makings of a high-scoring affair, driven by the pace and offensive tendencies of both teams. The Bulls rank 3rd in the NBA in points per game, 118.7, but combine that with being the worst defensive team, creating the perfect storm for a high total. The Celtics, while more balanced defensively, have no problem lighting up the scoreboard against porous defenses like Chicago's. Even if the game becomes lopsided, Chicago's high-paced offense ensures they'll put up enough points to contribute to the over. With both teams emphasizing offense and defensive lapses expected on Chicago's end, this total is likely to surpass 238.5. This game is set to be a showcase of Boston's dominance, with their stars shining against a defensively challenged Chicago squad. Look for the Celtics to cover the spread with ease while the points stack up in a fast-paced, high-scoring battle. Final score prediction: Celtics 127, Bulls 113.